Hi, and welcome to another week, another Monday. Wow, there we go, a bit white and grey here, but we're having some fun. Good weekend. I hope you all had a good weekend too. Exploring, doing all sorts, not too close to the computers, thankfully. And every weekend, another 1,000,000 people get vaccinated by the sound of it. So that's pretty good as well. So I know my father was vaccinated at the end of last week, so that's exciting. So, and I know a lot of you are as well. So I think that's at least giving us something to get excited about. Well, what are we talking about? We're finishing off January here. We're finishing off double January. So obviously it's February the 1st now. So we're not going to put the doubling to bed. We're hopefully going to continue the doubling, but we're going to move on to a different topic. And so we are going to look at suit establishment for a month. So declare a play for a month, and then we'll look at defence for a month for a change. Today, though, we're going to finish off the doubling with just a little look at defending a bit better. Okay, with just a little bit at defending a bit better. So we'll see. Okay, so we shall see with respect to that. What about going on the site? Well, I'm afraid to say we're focusing a little bit on holidays because we're trying to get those organised. So I'm obviously excited about the cruising with Balmoral, and trying to develop various cruises with them, both what we call cruising with a little bridge, so the basic Balmoral cruises where you get a little bit of bridge on the days at sea, but perhaps mainly we focus on our bridge cruises, where we have a lovely group to get together and we have some fun. What else then? Well, Mallorca. So thanks for your patience, everybody. Obviously, I wasn't really completely responsible for that holiday because I was the person running, would have been running the bridge. But Great Little Escapes have managed, I think they've sent out your letters now. Hopefully those of you who are on it have received them. And quite exciting really to think that we are going to hopefully be doing 2 Mallorca holidays. One in October of this year, so October of this year, and then another one hopefully in April of the year after. So that's Mallorca, our first venture to Mallorca. Hopefully we're going to be there in October. Will and Sylvia are going to be there running that one. And then I'm hoping to run an event in April in Mallorca. So that will be pushing the temperatures up, hopefully. And that probably means my wife will probably tag along. She likes a little bit of warm weather, which obviously she's missing a little at the moment. So look out for that. We'll have that on the site. Those of you who were already booked on a holiday will be getting a letter with regard to those developments. So thank you once again for your patience with respect to that. So good morning, everybody. And what we usually start with, of course, is our hand evaluation hand. So let's have a look at that. And this is the one I left you with on Friday. And there you can see 12 count, 4441. You're looking at the hand with respect to general bidding, but also if you were opening the bidding, would you fancy opening the bidding? And those are the kind of things that you're thinking about there. So I'm going to leave you with that as usual. And then what we tend to do is go off on our little seminar, and then we will come back. Okay, so we'll have a look at that. So have a think about that one. We'll come back to that one. And let's go to the seminar, I think. So, as I say, hopefully, and thank you for all your emails, and I've got a nice little example hand as well. I've got some nice hands, but I'm loving the fact that a lot of you were brave enough to send in your doubles that were successful and particularly not successful. And to be honest, when you first try doubling a lot more, if half of them are right and half of them are wrong, as long as you enjoy doing it, then you will get better. So I know that's not great. You don't want half of them to be wrong, but the idea is that you're trying to experiment, simply getting used to doubling more. Okay, you're trying to get used to doubling more, and then you go through the process of working out when you probably shouldn't have been double and when you should. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to just try and defend a bit better, because a lot of people have said to me, yeah, doubled, I think it was right, but one off wasn't quite enough, or perhaps you doubled and you actually allowed them to make it. And don't get me wrong, it happens to the best of us, as we know, are quite a few. Let me just think. I'm going back at least 3 months, but I doubled a 2 hearts, which I managed to defend pretty poorly, and they made it. So it's a horrible score. But when I look back at it, I realise we could have taken it 3 off. So can you see that, you know, getting the defence right is important, but of course not always easy. And we saw a contract, an extraordinary contract in the teams last week, where one table made 5 tricks with hearts as trumps, and the other table made 10. And that's all about trump control, and we've had a look at that before on the site. So, and can you see that's a big difference? I mean, one of them you're getting a big penalty maybe, and the other one they're making. So, as you can see. So what do I mean by defending better? Well, I'm going to focus on the lead here. Focus on the lead, because often that's going to make the difference. And as a number of you have suggested, leading trumps is reasonable, because most of the time we are doubling our opponents. We have the majority of points. So most of their tricks are probably going to come from ruffing, and by leading trumps, you're going to tend to stop them ruffing, sometimes quite dynamically. Okay. However, sometimes you might be looking for ruffs. So for example, you've got a singleton of your own, and you might be thinking, well, if we can make a few side tricks and I can take a few ruffs, then we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm generally going to lead trumps unless I look at my hand and think, you know, I might be able to make a ruff here. And that ruff can be an all-important trick. Usually when you're aiming for ruffs, it tends to be a slightly more competitive auction. Okay, slightly more competitive auction. Okay, so let's look at a hand. We see, I think I showed you this, may have been in the last seminar, but I just want to show it again because it's a simple example, and then we'll look at another example as well. So this is a hand, classic hand, where you're the responding bidder, you're the west hand. So your partner opens a heart, there's a spade overcall, and of course as soon as your partner's opened the bidding, you're thinking, okay, lovely jubbly, this is our hand. Okay, this is our hand. 2 clubs, an overcall, from us, of course, just a natural bid, and North jumps to 4 spades, and it goes pass, pass. Okay, so it goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 clubs, 4 spades, pass, pass, and of course what we decided when looking at sacrificing and also doing the penalty double is we decided, look, we've got to double this. It's our hand. I've got an opening hand, my partner's got an opening hand. I don't know what to bid. I've no idea how good my partner's hearts are. So there's no particular reason to think 5 hearts will make, but I've got to bid something. I'm not allowed to pass this out. So I'm going to double it because it's our game. Every so often it will make, but I can only really see, okay, I can only see really one reason, one way they're going to make lots of tricks here, and I would be leading a trump on this hand. Okay, there's no doubt we're not going to lead trumps in all sorts of hands, but on basic hands where they're just bidding a suit like this, north-south here are bidding on the strength of their fit. So you'll often find that trump leads will work pretty well. Not always, of course, and there should be obvious examples. And what I'm saying is if I'm going to go for a ruff, then I might not lead them, and we're going to see a hand where that will happen. But here with a flattish hand, there's no reason to think our side's going to make any ruffs. In fact, I'm putting my partner with a singleton trump maybe, or just a doubleton trump. Okay, so here I'm doubling and I'm going to lead a trump. And it's quite a common expression you'll hear from experts, double and lead a trump. Leading trumps is not always correct. There'll be times where you just lead an ace from an ace king or something like that. Okay, but sometimes if you do that, they'll start ruffing quicker than you hope. Okay, so here I'm doubling and leading a trump because I know they haven't got many points. They've probably only got 15 or 16 points between them. They're probably bidding very well, Because remember, 2 off or 3 off might be a good score for them. I'm not giving you the vulnerability, but that's not so much what I'm focused on. All I'm thinking is the only way they're going to make tricks is by ruffing. Okay. I've changed the hand slightly there, so don't worry about that one. I'd obviously decided to change the hand. I was doing that last night. Anyway, sorry about that. But you can see the point. The idea is look at the north-south hands for me, not so much the west hand, which is slightly changed. And you will see that they are going to be only going to make most of their tricks by ruffing here. Okay, they're only going to make their tricks by ruffing. Okay. So here it wouldn't matter, as it happens, if you led something else and then switched to trumps, it would work. But there will be times, particularly if they've got a void, where you do need to start drawing trumps straight away. I think here they're probably going to make, they'll probably make 8 tricks, and I think they'll probably get a good score. It's good bidding. You know, if we look at the hands that I've put up there, they're going to go, we're going to make 4 hearts, so it's a good sacrifice. But we're just simply trying to make as many tricks as we can, and to do that what we're doing is stopping, for example, North ruffing 3 times, because if North can ruff 3 times, I think the opponents will feel that they've got a good chance. They might just go 1 off, they won't. Okay, all right, so that's the hand sort of we've seen already. Let's look at a slightly different one. Okay. So going back here, someone asking there, just quickly, someone asking if we'd open with 11 points. Generally, we only really open with 11 points if we feel we fit with the guideline of 20 and it's a good hand. So let's look at this hand. I don't mind. I think it's quite a nice question. So look at the East hand on this hand. East is looking at his hand. And first of all, we're going to use the guideline of 20. Remember, not the rule of 20. It's the guideline of 20. And what that is you add your 2 longer suits together. 5 plus 4 is 9. And then you add your high card points. 11. So 9 plus 11 is 20. And what that means is you can open if you wish, because we feel you've got enough strength. At that point, you look at the quality of your suits. And then you look at if the suits are in the right order, and that's subtle, and we've said this a number of times before. If I had 5 diamonds and 4 hearts here, I probably wouldn't open, because I'd open a diamond and I wouldn't be able to follow up by showing my second suit. But here, 1 diamond, so 1 heart followed by 2 diamond is great. Okay. Anybody using the rule of 19, first of all, it would be the guideline of 19. That is very aggressive bidding, and sometimes they will play that at higher levels. I do not recommend using the guideline of 19. Please remember to call it guideline, though. Guideline of 20 is much more sensible. Okay, here you've got a lovely heart suit and you're happy to rebid 2 diamonds. Hence, I'm opening it 1 heart. Okay, as I say, if you switch those 2 suits around, ace, queen, jack to 5 diamonds and king to 4 hearts, it's very close. Okay. In the 3rd seat, you don't need any guideline. You can do anything you want, for those of you wondering. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Let's change the perspective. We're still in the west seat. Your partner opens a heart. Okay. A spade overcool. I think a double works all right here, but this West decided to bid 2 clubs. Okay, so I think a double is probably better here. It generally suggests both suits. Okay, but the West wanted to show the strength. Bear in mind the double only shows 6 or more, and West wanted to make sure his partner knew he had 10 or more. Okay, don't get me wrong, double is unlimited, but expecting a 2 spade bid, West felt that perhaps the best way of bidding was to show his 10 or more points here. Okay, so here 2 spades from North. Okay, and your partner made a double. What do you think that double is there? What do you think that double is? And hopefully for most of us it would be Takeout. Okay, Takeout. In this kind of hand, I'd expect him to be short in spades. And just saying, partner, I'm not sure I like clubs that much, but how do you feel about my hearts that I've already bid and diamonds? Okay. All right, so for me, that's still Takeout. Remember, early in an auction, there's no trump bids bid. There's no trump bids. Generally, it would show a reasonable hand, but I would expect him to be shorter in spades. Okay, so here, I think I'd probably come up with a 3 diamond bid here. Okay, I think that's reasonable. I've got a nice hand. It's looking like we've got the values close for game, but unfortunately, bidding game in the minors is not comfortable, is it? Because you need 28, 29 points. Anyway, let's see how the auction progresses. It goes pass, pass, and then 3 spades from South. Okay, so when everybody's non-vulnerable, if you want to know the vulnerability, everybody's non-vulnerable, what do you fancy over 3 spades? Yeah, and I think this is what I call the opponents taking the mickey here, okay? If you are completely and utterly sure you play a forcing pass here, you could do, but for me, I've got a balanced hand, and the problem is I think my partner might not think I'm balanced. Because I've bid 2 suits, my partner might think I've got a bit more distribution. So I'd be putting a double here, and I would feel that given that we've bid all the suits, there's no need for takeout doubles here. This is a penalty double saying, partner, I think they're trying to steal this away from us. So remember, if your opponents are non-vulnerable, they are thinking 50s. Oh, this is great. Nobody ever doubles us in 3 spades. They wouldn't be cheeky enough to double us. So we're going to get away with it. And they will. And they will at 90% of the tables they play at, they will. It will be 3 spades minus 2, and that will only be 100 points. And we will probably maybe making a part score, maybe 3 diamonds or something like that. So it's so important to double here. Don't get me wrong, your opponents have told you to double because they've said 1 spade is an overcall, 2 spades is a very weak bid, and then begrudgingly South has bid to 3 spades. Okay. Okay. The only problem in an auction like this is that sometimes in competitive biddings, if partner thinks you're very distributional, it's going to be less easy for him to double. So for example, if we had a singleton heart in this hand, it's a little bit trickier for your partner to decide, whereas the double suggests you're balanced. Now, what are you going to lead over the double? So someone asking there, East double, why didn't East rebid diamonds? Well, I think East is saying he's got some kind of club support as well. So he wants us to choose. So if we have long clubs, he's happy for us to go back to. And I think the key here is, on this auction, it's not unreasonable to hope that you might be able to make a heart ruff. Okay? So on this particular auction, to me, I'm thinking that I might make a heart ruff. And even if I don't make a heart ruff, surely maybe we can switch to spades later. Okay, it doesn't sound as if the opponents are massively distributional. They tend to bid faster when they're distributional. Might sound silly, but we've all been there. 1 heart, 1 spade overcall. North jumps to 4 spades. We saw it on the last hand. Bit cheeky, really. He only had 4 card support, but he went for it, okay, because he had a singleton. Here, just a meek 2 spade response. And then South has begrudgingly bid 3 spades. So I'm not expecting a great deal, but the King of Hearts could be a valuable lead. So here, I mean, let's look at the hand. And I've put it here. Again, interesting, you've got a light opening, relatively from East. Okay, South decided he felt he was too strong for a weak jump overcall. He's very borderline, and I've got sympathy with that. Non-vulnerable, it's quite a strong hand. So he only bid 1 spade, okay? And in the end, they ended up in 3 spades. And is 3 spades a bad contract? Yes, if we double. No, if we don't. Okay, you know, it's a funny old game, Bridge. 3 spades undoubled would be 100. I think we can take it 2 off if we lead the King of Hearts. Can you see that? King of Hearts lead's not always going to work this perfectly, okay? But the King of Hearts lead, heart to the ace, and you get your heart ruff. And that heart ruff, of course, is the extra trick that you're looking for, okay? You're going to make 2 hearts, a heart ruff, the ace of diamonds, and the ace and king of clubs, and that makes sure that you make 2 off. 2 off doubled is 300. That is a nice top score. 2 off undoubled, I think we're going to scrape home in 3 diamonds. I think we did well to bid to it, and I think we may well make 3 diamonds. Even with the diamonds not sitting so nicely for us, I think it's not unreasonable to hope that you'll, well, with the hearts breaking as nicely as they did. I think, ironically, you're probably going to do well in a heart contract, but you don't want to be in a heart contract. But the key here is this time I was looking for a ruff. So if I was completely flat there, 4, 3, 3, 3, for example, I'm not going to have bid the same way, but pretend I was, then of course I'd probably lead a trump, because I'm thinking I'll stop north. Maybe north's got a bit of distribution. I don't think the north-south bidding's completely unreasonable. I think it's reasonable for north to bid 2 spades. You know, he's got 3 card support, and south has got an extra spade. And against most opponents, you won't get doubled, and 3 spades will be a lovely score. Okay, and this is what I've often said to you when talking about competitive bidding. It depends who you're playing against at the table. If you're playing against those people who double you all the time, well then, of course, you don't bid 3 spades. But if you never get doubled, and there's a lot of tables you'll play against in your local club when we get back to playing, where you just never get doubled, well then 3 spades is good bidding, okay? Because here you'll probably win the auction. Okay, what do you think of East's opening bid? Well, again, the suits are in the right order. I like his bidding, really. I mean, I quite like the double on no extra values there. So the auction went 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, okay? You know, I quite like a double there. Now, some of you might want it to be stronger, but I quite like it, okay? The reason South didn't do a weak jump overcall is because he felt he was too strong at non-vulnerable. So that's up to you on your values, whether it's 5 to 9 non-vulnerable or... But it's quite a nice hand, the South hand. And sometimes partner might be decent and you might be able to do quite well in a contract. So it's up to you where your level is. But clearly, there's got to be an upper limit. For some of you, if it's 6 to 10, even at non-vulnerable, then 2 spades is neat. Okay, it would go 1 heart, 2 spades double. And then north might bid 3 spades and it might come back round and then you do another punch. So you may still end up in 3 spades if you get a weak jump overcall there. So it's quite an interesting hand. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's come back to me, I think. Oh, no, sorry, I'm coming back again. So one other thing about defending is to remember suits that your partner hasn't always bid. Let me quickly show you what I mean, because it comes up quite a lot in these ones. So let me show you. So when your partner does a double for takeout, what do you tend to think about in your partner's hand? So if your partner does a double for takeout, what does that tend to imply? It won't always be, but what does it tend to imply? Okay, and the implication would be the unbid major. Absolutely, okay. And so quite often remember that when you're on lead, because when you're in a, I mean, let me show you an example, but when you're in a contract, when you've got this information, it can be quite important to make the right lead. Okay, so let's look at this hand. I've seen better, but we've got more than the average, just about, but I have to say my usual evaluation of that kind of hand would be closer to 10 than 11. 4, 3, 3, 3 tend to take a point off. So let's see how the auction starts. 1 spade by north, double from your partner, 1 no trump from south. Okay, and it's your bid. So 1 spade from north, double from your partner, 1 no trump. And obviously the clue is in the last month. Yep, I'm good. I'm glad most of you have got the X or double. So yeah, we're going to double this. Now, what's important to note here is that I am expecting partner to have an opening hand for the double. Some of you sometimes say, oh, I double on 10, I double on 9. Well, be careful, because I'm going to double 1 no trump with this hand, expecting you to have a decent 11 count at least. And why am I doubling? Well, because I think we have the majority of the points, and when we've got the majority of the points, then it's not unreasonable to double. What I was hoping that you were going to all say was double and. Okay, so double and of course, the idea is here is that the one suit you would feel you could rely on more than any other is hearts. Okay, so you're going to double and you feel comfortable leading a small heart. You're also quite excited about your ace 9 of spades because it might be 2. Really, you should never play a double of no trumps like this as takeout. It's just not good bridge, okay? All right, your partner's already done a takeout double. So you just respond by showing the suit you've got. You do not need a double here to be takeout. It's so important in auctions like this to be able to double for penalties, okay? And it's good fun. I mean, it might sound silly, but it's good fun. I know a lot of you won't have had this auction before, okay? But it's good fun. It means South is ignoring the double, which I'm okay with. South's got a normal 6 or 7 points. He probably should be stronger, but he doesn't want to be affected by your bidding too much. Now the double is good. And the point is here, it's all about leading the heart, okay? Okay, it's all about leading the heart. For me, the vulnerability is not going to make a huge amount of difference here because my hand is not nice. Okay, so I don't think we've got any chance really of making games. Even if I was vulnerable and they were not, I am so far away from bidding game here. Can you see? Okay, if North bids again, remember we've got 4 spades here. So we're quite happy to double spades as well. Okay, we have a feeling that if they start running, remember our partner is going to have hearts, diamonds and clubs. So I don't think they're doing well in hearts, diamonds and clubs, and in spades we should do okay, and I'm going to double them there. So I think I'm relatively confident doubling 2 spades, and my partner's probably going to start putting the double cards on anything else. So I'm quite happy to start. But the most important thing about the double is it says partner, we got the majority of the points. Okay. So let's look at the hand. Relatively straightforward. Your partner's been a bit aggressive, to be honest. 12 points. That's the minimum I would want if I had a doubleton. Okay, the minimum. The reason I've given your partner that hand is because if your partner's got a minimum hand with a doubleton, he will probably have 4 of the major. He might have 3 of one of the minors, but he will probably have 4 of the major. And that is why I'm leading at heart. I mean, to be honest, it might not cost huge amounts if you lead other things, but the heart starts where we want to start. Should South have bid a no trump? I don't know, probably not, but it sort of describes his hand. He's got a high card in every other suit. He's got 2 10s. It's not the worst hand. Thing is, he doesn't have to bid, and that's why I'd probably pass with the South hand. But 1 no trump often won't get punished, and you might finish all right. North could bid 2 spades here. You know, he could bid 2 spades, he'll end up in 2 spades doubled. You know, but maybe 1 no, I think leaving it 1 no trump is better. We've been discussing this in the last few Fridays, haven't we? You know, whether we should take out 1 no trump doubled or not. And I think you're going to take it a couple off. And that's why the double is so important here. Now, clearly, East-West don't want to be anywhere near game. Can you see that? Because they've just got normal strength here. Notice that when South responds, you are not expecting to be in game. And that's important. North's opened and South has responded. So unless South is being silly, okay, and he's only got a 2 count, most of the time North-South are going to have, as here, 17 or 18 points. You probably think I'm an aggressive bidder now because I think every single opening bid on this particular seminar has had 11 points. Should North open? I think that's borderline. I mean, I'm quite happy with 1 spade. Some of you who like to open 1 no trump with 5 card majors might do, but for me it's all about the spade, so I would open a spade with that hand, okay, and be happy to rebid 2 spades because that, as far as I'm concerned, that's what my hand's all about. So the point here is a heart lead, make sure you take your 3 hearts, okay. Remember, once you've done a penalty double, all subsequent doubles are penalties. So once you've done a penalty double, all subsequent doubles are penalties. So once it goes 1 spade double, 1 no trump, double for penalties. Now all others are. So here, remember, when you're leading your partner's suit, you lead the normal card. So the 3 of hearts is the lowest from an honour. So it promises an honour. Okay, all right. So it promises an honour. Okay, so 1 no trump doubled, lovely. Okay, get you your 300 rather than 100. I don't like 100 here because I think we might scrape I don't know, scrape the odd part score. I don't know which one it would be, but we might get lucky and scrape home in a part score. And you know, if we, you know, who knows, in 2 hearts you might end up making 110. You know, I'm not saying you always will, but you might scrape home in it. 300 is much better than that. Okay, so just a few ideas on defending against doubling. One of the things you can have a look at, you can see, if you want to see how difficult defence is, you can just watch me on the teams because I enjoy the teams and it's all generally plain sailing until I'm defending. And you can see the agony, sometimes the ecstasy, but the agony that I go through when I'm defending, because I am trying to put my mind into a different gear. Defending at bridge is something completely alien. It's one of the, for most experts, it is the fascination of bridge, because it is so different to any other intellectual exercise that you do. But it can be excruciating. Okay, so if you want to remind yourself that your bad defenses are enacted by other people, watch me defend sometimes and you will see everything go horribly wrong. Okay, hopefully it goes more right than wrong, but you can see that. Okay, okay, so a couple of things. Let's go to the power, the Q+, of course, remind ourselves of that one. So let's just have a quick look. So we had this one at the start, some of you might have missed it there, so it's the one we have at the end of Friday. Hand evaluation hand. For me, in a way this is standard, and it's something that is not bad. It's not bad having this as part of your system. And it is particularly when you have a singleton club, okay? Because a singleton club is the only 4-4-4-1 hand that I really dislike. Okay, I really dislike, okay? And the reason for it is that I don't want to open a diamond here, because if my part, you know, I may well have to rebid 2 diamonds, okay? So I end up having to open a heart, and I don't like it. I lie in a major, because if I open 1 heart and rebid 2 diamonds, partner's thinking I've got 5. And so what I think about is when I have got a 4-4-4-1 hand with a singleton club, and particularly a singleton club, I will consider passing, even if it's a decent 12 count. I mean, this is relatively bare. It's not the worst, but it's relatively bare. But with a 12 count, it's not unreasonable to pass. Remember, the pass is not ending your auction. Okay, I mean, let me open up the whole hand. It's not ending your auction. All it is simply doing is saying, partner, I'm not quite got an opening hand. And you'll have seen this before, because when I set a hand like this, okay, you know, I'll always give your partner 3 hearts and 4 in the minor, because if you open a heart, probably he's almost always going to end up supporting hearts with that hand. Now, for me, it's the singleton club. Any other singleton I'm not worried about. So imagine it was a singleton diamond. If you had a singleton diamond, I can open a club quite happily. Partner bids a diamond, I bid a heart. Nice and simple. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, here with a singleton club, it's not so bad. It's not so nice. Okay, so hence with 12 counts and singleton clubs, I never open light, and with 12 counts, I think you can pass. With 13, now you do sometimes get people who advise, oh, don't open with 13 either. With 13, I feel I've got to bid. Okay, with 13, I feel I've got to bid. Okay, so, you know, because remember, with a singleton and a 4-4-4-1 hand with 13 points, you've got a pretty good playing strength. So bear in mind, if you find a fit, you know, and also with 13 points, the likelihood of it going pass, pass, pass is more. With 12 points, and if it went pass, 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 pass here, I wouldn't be the end of the world. You know, I haven't exactly got a wonderful hand, so it's not as if we're going to make anything spectacular. Here, simple example, of course, I've got the bidding going. Let's just see how it starts. If I pass, I imagine it's going to go pass, pass 1 club. And of course now I can double for takeout. Okay, now partner's only going to put me with 10 or 11, but that's fine. Okay. Okay, and the point here is, I don't know whether the opponents are going to compete. I'm not exactly sure. If this is Q+ bidding, I'm not sure why Q+ didn't bid a heart, to be honest, but we find our diamonds, and that's the key. Okay, we find our diamonds, and that's the key. Okay, interesting question. And what happens if your singleton was the jack of clubs there? I probably would still pass. You know, it's 12.5. Remember, I cut the jack in half. If I had the jack of diamonds, though, so if I had 13 straight points, I would open a heart, and I'd probably end up in the wrong contract. But I feel with 13 points, I do need to be bidding. Bearing in mind, it's 13 points and a singleton if we find a fit. And partner's never going to believe I'm that strong. So you've got to be a little bit careful. I would only push it to some distance. So with 12 points in a singleton club, okay. Okay. So here went double for Takeout, and North jumped to 2 diamonds there, which I think is a nice bid actually. Even though we've promised, it just keeps us, and that should finish the auction. Of course, we're just going to pass it. And it just makes sure West has come back in. That's interesting. Okay, I like that bid from West. However, I don't feel any need. I think they've probably found the wrong contract now. I like West coming in. I think West probably should bid 3 clubs though. He's too flat. Too flat. So I should have bid 3 clubs. And then I might have been pushed to 3 diamonds, interestingly. Okay. Anyway. So if you have someone asking about convention cards, should you have on your convention card that you don't open 4-4-4-1 hands with singles and clubs with 12 points? That is a very deep thing. So you'd have to put that, if you're going to a very high level competition, you have a very extensive convention card, you could put it. But most people won't have enough room for that because it is only 4-4-4-1 hands with singleton clubs that I would do it on. Some of you may do it on all your 4-4-4-1 hands, but for me, it's just the one that I find the most awkward. All other singleton clubs, all other 4-4-4-1 hands, I open with a minor suit. Okay, so I'm not so worried about them. It's only that singleton club. Okay, let's come back to the living here. We have a winner of the prize. That was Trish Davis. Trish Davis was our winner this time. Trish Davis, I've got 2 cards, a 3 and a 4. Let's just see which one you're going to get. You're going to get the number 4. That means you are my teammates. You are my teammates at the end of February. Of course, February's got one fewer week. And you'll be playing East-West at the other table with a partner of your choice. So well done, Trish. Congratulations on that. Where am I going next? I've got to remember. I think I'm doing the offer of the week. The offer of the week is the seminar. So we've got a seminar. I think the seminar on for the non-members there is 1 No Trump Play. So that's at half price there. So do look at that. We'll send you an email about it later in the week. And of course, a reminder as I look up my deal, a reminder for you that, of course, all of our holidays are open to everybody. And that's really important. So, you know, we have our site here, the Bernard Magee Bridge site, which you're obviously all welcome to join. And we're developing it as we go. We've got a new homepage and this and that. I am trying to work on the novices. Please bear with me on that because I know a few of you are struggling to find the stuff for novices. But yes, so we're going to have events that are cruises. We're going to have bridge holidays that go to hotels abroad, the first of which, as I'm suggesting, is going to be Mallorca in October, and then there'll be another, hopefully, Mallorca in April. Okay, and we're also going to have events in the UK, our traditional weekend holidays. I've got a few of those listed on the holiday site. We're not selling them as yet. I'm still trying to do that. Okay, so we will get there. Okay, and it is going to be exciting, and believe me, you're going to capture my excitement. So cruising for me, for the bridge cruises that we're doing, is from 2022, and that should be exciting. At the moment, as a number of you pointed out, the singles haven't got any special singles offers there. They've done a few for us, but they're not special that we used to have, and so we will look out for those in the future. I know that on the January Canaries, they've got a pretty good singles offer for us there. But we'll see. And of course, we've got the new one that we were mentioning, which is the Canada and America one. That's 2023, so look out for that. So let's come back to Q+. I was sent this hand in. I thought this was brilliant. It's a great way to finish the January hand. So let's have a look at it and see how the auction might have gone. I'm not going to say it's the perfect auction. But it was interesting, and it encapsulated what we'd been talking about for the most part over the month of January. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so North was the opening bidder here, and they opened a spade. This was the main bid I didn't really like. It did work for East-West, but I'm not sure I would have been bidding it. Okay, because East bid 2 hearts here. I would feel that that's not quite strong enough for a 2-heart bid for me there. I either want 6 hearts or I want a bit more playing strength. However, 2 hearts it was. At this point, South passed, which I think is reasonable. Okay. I have to say, I would feel that I'm worth a game try with the West hand, but West passed as well. Okay, because I would usually, with the West hand, I would feel, well, if I've got an opening hand and partner's bid 2 hearts, I might, you know, I would feel a game might be on. But anyway, he passed. North decided to bid 2 spades, keep the auction open. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, at this point, so it's going to be a longer auction than you expect, because it then went pass, pass, 3 hearts. Okay, so we're making our way up slowly. Okay, but I quite like this. It's because both sides are thinking, okay, this is a competitive deal. We should be competing for it. So I like it. North's done enough now, definitely. But of course, at this point, South is thinking, well, you know, a lot of the time my partner's going to have 6 spades because he didn't have to bid again, and he'll often make a takeout double. So I think I'm going to compete to 3 spades. Okay. All right. So I would have just passed with the East hand. Someone asking what would have I have bid with the East hand, I would have passed, and the bidding in my auction would have gone 1 spade, pass, pass, and then a takeout double from West. Okay, all right, just to explain that, in fact, James has put that up for you there. Okay, so 3 spades from South seems a reasonable bid. What do you think you'd bid with West now? And this, I think, was great. This was a great bid from the sender-inner, as it were, the responder, because he found a double there, which is a great bid. I mean, it doesn't feel... I mean, I feel that West could have bid more already, so I would have actually been bidding the opponent's suit earlier in this hand. But now double is a really good bid. It's saying, look, I think they've bid too high here. I really do think they bid too high. Now, that should end the auction, okay? And we'll pretend it did. Unfortunately, East bid 4 hearts, okay? Which, of course, East is a bit guilty because East has got a bit of a pile of rubbish for the 2 heart bid. But anyway, as long as you trust your partner, the double is penalties in this auction, okay? Clearly, both sides know their fit now. There's no reason to play takeout doubles here. I mean, some of you may play something like an action double or something like that, but I would feel here that all the action has taken place. So all double is saying is, I think our opponents are overbidding, okay? So we're going to pass that out. Okay, so what would you fancy? To be honest, ironically, I think either lead would work here. But I think the best lead is clear. I think the best lead for me is relatively clear. And it makes sure that you take this contract 2 off, which is what you need. Non-vulnerable around the board there. And I think a trump lead is... Sorry, I'm pretty sure it's East on lead. Sorry about that. East is on lead here. Okay, otherwise it would be the ace of spades, but it's going to be a small trump. And we continue leading trumps, and of course it stops South getting a ruff. Okay, as it happens, I think if you chose a different lead, you may still get it 2 off anyway, but a trump lead promises that they get it off. Promises isn't the right word, but we would end up drawing all of South's trumps. Can you see that? And South never gets a heart ruff. Can you see the idea? So by leading trumps to the ace, another trump back, when we win, East would win the 2nd round of hearts and would be able to lead a 3rd round of trumps. So North loses the ace of spades, 2 hearts, the ace of diamonds, and 2 club tricks. That's 2 off. It's not 100, it's 300. So a great double from West and a good example of good competitive bidding. I like it. I'm not saying every bid was right, but the idea was there, and what West was saying when he wrote to me was, I was really, enjoying the ideas behind this double annuary and the competitive bidding, and it made me double, and a lot of people wouldn't be doubling there, okay? Just one last thing on that one. Let's just restart and look at the auction that I'd had. It goes 1 spade, pass, pass. So I wouldn't have overcalled with the East hand. It would go pass, pass. You're borrowing a king in the West seat. So not 12 points with 15 points. Okay, I would feel I can double even with just 3 cards in hearts here. Okay, so I'm doubling, and I feel I can do it even with 3 cards, okay, in the 4th seat, okay. If I only had an 8 count, it's a close call, but I'd still want to double. I want to compete for the hand, because remember, if you're short in spades, you're expecting them to make a spade contract, which they probably will here. They'll scrape home in 1 spade. Okay, well, we've dealt with a lot today. On the site, as I say, we're going on to declare a play. We're going on to declare a play. Okay, so suit establishment, I enjoy that. We start at it's a novice level, I suppose, because all we're talking about is loving 5 card suits in the play. Well, loving 5, 6, 7 and 8 card suits as well. But when they're not the trump suit, or they're no trumps, we'll start with developing the extra tricks from your long suits is a wonderful thing. On Friday, what are we talking about? We are going to finish off the 1 no trump doubled by looking at 1 no trump pass double. 1 no trump pass double. What goes on then? Okay, what goes on then, and should we be escaping, and how should we escape? Okay, bear in mind that whenever we cover a subject on the Friday, towards the end of the subject they tend to get a lot deeper. Hopefully we start the subject at a more novice level, but as we move on through, I tend to take on the questions that people have asked, so look out for that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. We've got to look at our quiz, of course, so let's have a quick look to see what we're going to leave you with here. Your partner's opened 2 no trumps, and you've got to respond. So it's 2 no trumps pass, and it's your bid. I've put the vulnerability up there, game all, but I'm not sure that matters much here. So it's 2 no trumps pass, and it's going to be your bid. Okay, 2 no trumps pass, and it's your bid. Don't forget, you can look up the bidding quiz answer on our site, whether you're a member or not. Okay, if you're not a member, of course the question is simple: why not? Okay, and don't forget, you can always join us. And even if you're not a member, but if you want to hear about any offers we've got or anything, don't forget, give us your email and we will send you either holidays or information on some of the special offers we have, and we'll send you the Teams links if you're interested in that. Obviously for the non-members you've got to pay for that, but sometimes we have it on special offer. So all sorts of opportunities for you. And don't forget, you can always email us a question, whether it's a hand about making extra tricks from long suits. I hope you enjoyed double annually. I'm so glad that a lot of you were doubling more. It was lovely to get the messages of you just enjoying doing it, and some of you being completely honest and saying it was about 50-50, but hopefully you can build from that. Okay, thanks very much, and see you throughout the week.